The Department of Veterans Affairs plans to eliminate 35,000 healthcare positions. According to the Washington Post, that includes mostly unfilled jobs, including doctors, nurses, and support staff. Virginia lawmakers are criticizing the Trump administration. Congressman Bobby Scott says there are reports that the new Chesapeake outpatient clinic is still woefully understaffed and that, quote, if these reports are true, it is only going to exacerbate and worsen the problem and further hinder veterans' ability to access the health care they were promised.
Hello, Bobby Jones here for MeidasTouch and Ballard Media Networks. 35,000. That is a number being reported by the Washington Post of how many veteran administration jobs will remain open and unfulfilled by the Trump administration. 35,000. In an environment where President Trump is escalating rhetoric and violence in the Southern Hemisphere, dealing specifically with the coast of Venezuela and on the other side in the Pacific, I find it particularly troubling that this report from the Washington Post was able to get out and show just exactly how the Trump administration views people who are in uniform and then those once they leave service, how they're treated. The 35,000 number that we're talking about, Veteran Affairs Secretary Doug Collins and company will tell you, well, those are jobs that have yet to be hired. Yes, that is true. However, those were jobs that were congressionally funded and allocated to make up for the unbelievable shortfall in veterans care in the system. Veteran Affairs has chronically had understaffing, and so the previous administration tried to plus that number up and had a phased replacement program to specifically deal with the doctors, nurses, and mental health professionals that this current generation of veterans need. That's a 20-year war. That's millions of veterans that have cycled through, many of them who need help. There's no coincidence that the homeless veteran population has gone up in the last 10 years. It's not a coincidence that you see so many veterans with mental issues in our society, undiagnosed, who need help. So the Veteran Affairs Administration was trying to do something about that in the previous administration. Now we're finding out that all of those billets that had been congressionally funded are not happening, and it's by design. If one looks at Project 2025, you know, the holy Bible of the current administration, they believe vets are overcompensated and that we take too much from the system. Nobody was saying that when they were sending us in various places all over the world for 2 damn decades. No one said anything. And now they're trying to smear veterans by sitting there saying, oh, so many of you guys claim things that you don't have, et cetera, et cetera. And the people who are complaining the most are the same exact people that did not have the testicular or ovarian fortitude to put on the nation's uniform and go fight enemies that we were told were a direct threat to the United States. So now where does that leave us? You have a bunch of undiagnosed and underdiagnosed veterans walking around trying to make ends meet and trying to hold everything together. And the number one positions that they are gunning are mental health care professionals. Hell, when Trump came into office and they did their DOGE budget cuts, they cut off the Veteran Suicide Assistance Hotline. That should tell you how much they really don't give a damn. And how much are veterans supposed to continue to take when they try to get an appointment and they're on the phone for hours because the phones aren't manned, or when they actually go into a VA facility and they don't have what they need to actually see someone in a relatively decent amount of time. And I know what some people will say, well, my VA experience has been good. If one veteran's experience is not what it's supposed to be, that's one too many. But here's what's happening. By not hiring the people that you need to hire, those who are already working at the VA, the doctors who forego a larger salary, the nurses who serve because they want to help people who've already served, all of those people become burnt out, which is already happening. And you see this exodus in general of just trying to leave healthcare. But most importantly, you see the exit happening in the VA where you can ill afford it the most. But that's the big secret, because that's the goal. The current administration does not want to have a functional Department of Veteran Affairs. They want to privatize everything. They want to continue to make money off the backs of people who said, I will go, I will serve, regardless of what you think about military deployments and where the military was sent. Let me remind everybody watching this video, the United States military does not determine where it goes and what it does. That is civilian, politically elected leadership. But you want to have, in all nations, a group of people who are willing to serve their country to protect themselves and their interests. And America has had it in spades. But now it's being abused. It's being abused because when we come back home, we have so many people who don't have the support that they need. When you combine that with the overwhelming disrespect veterans are dealing with, to include Washington, D.C., where they have the National Guard rounding up homeless veterans and then shipping them off, or deporting people who have served in America and in uniform, being deported to countries they haven't been to since they were babies or children. No disregard. It's blatant. It's blatant. It's like, hey, we want you to sit there and possibly commit war crimes off the coast of Venezuela. And when you're done, we're not going to give a damn about you. That is what this administration is saying, all at the same time, all in the same breath. And let's remember, this is coming from an administration who is led by a man that dodged the draft not once, not twice, not three, not four, but 5 times, who referred to his own personal Vietnam as dodging STDs in the 60s and 70s. That is where this is coming from. A man who loves to put on medals, loves to stand in front of the military so he can feel like a tough guy, but then will not do a damn thing for even veterans of his generation, Vietnam, who are suffering right now. He does nothing for them. And so he trots out Doug Collins, someone who's from my home state of Georgia, to sit there and give you the old shucks country bull jive that, hey, everything is great and the VA is more efficient. No, the hell it's not. No, it's not. I personally have seen it. Friends of mine personally have seen it, and the American people see it. Anytime you see a homeless veteran walking on the street, that means the VA has failed. It's failed. And now with 35,000 jobs being eliminated, with people who are already burnt out leaving the Veterans Administration, it's only going to get worse. This is why I personally have a problem with the grandstanding that the current administration does when using the military as political backdrop. Between President Trump and Pete Hegseth, we see this constant need to stand in front of troops so they feel legitimate. It is the ultimate imposter syndrome. Yet they consistently are telling us we are too expensive, as in veterans, to spend money on. We are too expensive to make sure long term the things that we earned are properly given. So what happens? You see the smear campaigns. You see articles coming out in various media platforms saying, hey, veterans overclaim things, et cetera, et cetera. All written by people who did not and do not have the guts to put on the damn uniform themselves. Veterans are not asking for a handout. They're not begging for some special treatment. They just want to get what they were promised when they signed up. And let me be very clear about this, especially my generation of veterans. 20 years is a long damn time. It's a long time. Many of those who serve, they lost loved ones while they deployed. They missed birthdays. They lost marriages behind the consistent deployments when they had to go 6, 7, 8 times back to back to back. Their bodies ache. Their mental capacity is fractured in some respects, but they don't want sympathy. They just want the dignity of the treatment that they earned. I don't know why this is so hard. And for it to be framed as some type of handout, and for it to be framed as a budget line item. And that's all that those 35,000 people represent to certain members of Congress and certain members of the administration is a betrayal. It is an absolute betrayal of a sacred trust that America is supposed to have with its service members. They don't want anything special. We don't want anything special. We just want what's promised. And I am sick and tired of every time I see something dealing with the Veteran Affairs Administration in the United States that is something else being cut. You didn't want to fight the war on the cheap. The defense contractors who made tons of money off the backs of those people who went to war, they didn't get a reduced payment. Everybody else got to eat off of the deployments of American citizens. And now you want to sit there and say, you don't deserve premium care. You don't deserve quality care. Let's get one last squeeze out of that rock and send these people to privatized care where Congress will have no oversight. And really, you probably won't get the services you deserve, but at least those rich guys that didn't go to war will be paid.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.